Oh, I forgot to turn a bunch of stuff on, including my steering wheel. Ugh. I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff right today. So, let my gloves actually got myself. So, hold on, need to be enabled. Should be enabled now. Good. Isn't good as this towel deciding to annoy me again. So, only thing I need to do then is briefly poke at the webcam, and it should come back alive. And yes, it's now back alive. Perfect. Okay then. Let's launch ACC. We have some ground to catch up. Again, haven't done a single lap of practice, and the last time I've driven this combination was back in, I think, 2022? So yeah, I've at least driven, I guess, this combination before. Specifically this car on this track. The Merc was in the past overpowered on Bathurst. Let's see if he still is. Primary car is the wrong one. I'm not driving a Porsche here. I'm driving the Merc, not this one. I'm gonna select this one here. And then Sudo apt update. Yeah, that's I think the right server. So that should do the trick. A few minutes of free practice, I guess, remaining. Perfect. We have the overlay up. Then back into the car. Stretch. Turn off the controllers, and that should wrap most things up. I need to briefly switch this on still, because I still haven't fixed this. Yes, still not fixed it. Also, Jordan is not driving today. Okay, good. Seriously, what is wrong with my pulse? Like 150 sitting still is completely absurd. I'm not doing anything at all. What is wrong? Either my body has gone completely berserk, or this pulse meter has gone completely berserk. Like, no, I'm definitely not hitting 150 right now. I mean, I suck at, like, measuring my own pulse, so I don't know how I could measure it briefly to get a reference number. It probably is, like, 90, but, like, not 120. These numbers are, like, really way higher than they should be. In terms of mathematically. There's another Merc driver in GT4. Yeah, I guess we've gotten stuck with like 2 GT4 drivers at this point. 2 minutes 15. I don't know if that's any good. I think that's relatively good. Do I have the setup still saved? Yes, I do. And yeah, it was June 2022. Pretty a reason for this not to work. It's set up to run, those 80 liters should last an hour. Probably. Let's see. Let's drop the fuel because we have qualifying come up first. Temperatures are not that hot. So let's probably drop the brake ducts down a bit. We're not even running minimum rear wing on this setup. Maybe we should look into that one. Caster is not maxed, we're gonna do that for it. Pressures are probably maybe a bit low, I don't know. Well, I think they're probably gonna be fine. Let's just run. We have half an hour for qualifying. I mean, I did struggle last time to get the hang of this track. Let's see what we do here. But yeah, I guess the McLaren Boros decided that, hey, because there's only 6 people signed up for it, we don't even bother showing up for the second race anymore. Ah, so go figure. Also, I definitely know, while there was blue flags displayed at me, there is no one on a hot lap right now. We've just exited the pit lane.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Yeah, I got the spotter. This car can very quickly lose the overview over where people are on you. In comparison to the Merc. Not Merc, the McLaren. This guy's staying with me here on my outlap. Oh yeah, right, we have top speed limits, that's why there isn't really any use from decreasing the rear wing. Right. It's really free, let's let them go. Even though I'm basically turning around right now my competition. What the fuck is that? Is that the Aston having issues with internet, or was that me?
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Tire pressure's on the front a bit low. Merc will probably want to pass me for the end of this.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
I mean, when I signed up for this 2 weeks ago at this point, there was a lot. I mean, there weren't many GT4s, but like there were about as many GT3s at the same time. Like, perhaps a handful more. Should have closed the window. There's someone barbecuing with wood outside. It leaves an intense stench of burning wood in you. Probably gonna after this run deal with that. Understeer, a lot of it. Evening bottom. Okay, the rear tires are now overpressured. Let's see how it is. I mean, I did load this setup from June 2022. Because that's when I drove the 4-hour race here. And 12.
Clear on the left.
Whee! Okay, I got fucking brake checked there. Yeah, let's close the window right now. How goes GT4 memes? Not so great, I guess. I mean, the car works halfway. Well, let's just escape right now back to the garage. I will briefly close the window right now because this fucking... It might as well be smoke coming in. Because the neighbors want to barbecue with, I don't know, the worst quality wood that you could find. And like straight into my window apparently. And also like, you know, it's actually quite late. It's nearly 10 PM, so like, what are you doing? I mean, I guess because tomorrow is a holiday, so go figure for that one. I will be back again. So I don't have to breathe in fire. There's a fucking GT3 slower than me. Mr. D unknown. I did not drink enough today. So let's start fixing the tire pressure slightly. Half a PSI down on the rears. Maybe click more. Fronts a click down, but they probably are otherwise fine already. The unknown. I'll throw you into the meat grinder. But yeah, I did say when I was driving up the mountain on my Qualy lab, considering when I signed up 2 weeks ago that there was roughly the same amount of GT4s as GT3s, the fact that like there is none anymore at this point GT4s, it's quite bad. Fresh left tires. Oh wait. So faffing around with the starter. Let's see if we can push the lap time a bit lower. Although there's frankly kind of not a point in it. But I kind of also need just a bit of practice before the race. Yesterday would be preferable. Yeah, I'm on the edge of having one right now. As I said, I didn't drink quite enough, and that was me referring to the fact that I would say I have a light headache right now. I very easily get migraines. Like, my body is like, you didn't drink 15 liters of water? Well, that's a migraine now today. Well, your sleep schedule was a bit funny. Well, migraine. It just sometimes throws it randomly at me, and I'm just like, okay, fine. I mean, my preferred method of dealing with them is sleep, so works the most reliable. Drink a shit ton of water and then sleep. That's usually reliable in dealing with them. The problem is I can't chug that much fluid. Like at some point my body is like, nope. And then you just get like, your body is like, look, yeah, I need water badly, yeah, migraine, for migraine error, but you're just like, I drank as much water as I can intake before I start vomiting the water back up. I can't drink liters of water, my body will just like stop and go full. I've had this where like doing VR chat things
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
where someone
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out.
couldn't sleep last night. Yeah, when they take your sleep away, that's extra fun. Well, that was not right. More fluid, nip the pain in the bud. Yeah. One of the interesting things is I can't actually take the usual like pills against headaches. Because since childhood days, I just haven't been able to actually swallow them. And if they dissolve in your mouth, they taste really bad. So I have been very used to throwing them back up. I didn't invalidate there? That's surprising. Okay, the Ferrari is already cross-cutting at this point. I'm chucking it a bit wrong down here as well. Okay, I don't take any regular medications, I guess. Otherwise, I would have had to figure this problem out. And since then, just using powder effectively that you should technically dissolve in water, but like, yeah, I just chuck it raw. Oh, that sounds good. Then go into second.
Yellow flag, be careful.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, it seems the McLarens have not come back this week. And with this leak literally stipulating that, hey, you can't switch class, you will get disqualified if you do so. It's like, yeah, you don't see people. I mean, the thing is, there's still technically 6 entries on SimGrid. It's just 4 of them didn't turn up today. Oh great, awesome. I have GT4 passing us at the outside now. That cost me any momentum I had gained there. Oh, fucking hell, this car's understeer here over the top. Something. I expected to turn like a GT3 there, but it obviously doesn't. Well, that was too fast. Damn, not near. But that was hugging it very closely. I thought very much that I was gonna hit the wall there. And bonked the wall again. Had to reinstall Windows. Why didn't you install Linux? I did actually yesterday do a bunch of Linux stuff. Getting my pedals to work.
Yellow flag, be careful there.
Still not quite how I want them to, but like they do show up and register.
But are they the fastest step so far?
Well, that doesn't really work. The problem is I don't get to the apex there. The car just... Because I can't get it into second gear there. It's a bit of the issue.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Oh fuck, I fucked up the corner again.
Light damage at the front of the car.
Why can I just not drive that corner correctly? Not so good. Yeah, there's someone under 2 minutes in a fucking qualifying. Number 16. Aston. Fucking hell. I mean, 2 minutes 01s are also like utter crazy. I mean, this is also like 2 minutes 01 here. And I'm still like in the... What is my time? 2:12.1. Yeah, I mean, even for GT4, that's not too great. I think that's relatively comparable to like 2:03, something like that in GT3s. It's not great, it's not terrible either. It's faster than the other guy. He is pushing though again, so I guess I should probably get back out. Used to ACC again. Yeah, I saw you start the game earlier. I did see you do that. You do be burning about 3 liters a lap right now. I think what's going on with my overlay is that I haven't set... I still have eco mode enabled on the thing. Yeah, I'm currently trying to... What do I want to do again? Oh yeah, I'm do fuel math. Because it's a sound idea in my opinion right now to deal with that problem. Just laid there. Yeah, we're lapping probably like at best 11s. 18888. Restore 60 divided by memory recall because I'm stupid there. That is 28 laps. Let's go to 29 times 2.95. That's about 85.5 liters. We only need 1 liter to complete the pit stop requirement. Okay, yeah, but average times at Spa with the 720S Evo, with full race fuel, so 120 liters in the fuel tank, it is 2 minutes 19, roughly. I can peak below 19, but probably low 219s throughout the stint. For fuck's sakes. I seriously probably need to put spell checking everywhere because I constantly misspell something. But yeah. Qualifying, I was able to do a 2 minutes 17.8. So also sudo mount dot slash onto def sdb. You have no clue what I just said, but like it does make sense. Trust me, it makes sense. Did he actually beat me? Still not. Let's do more practice laps. Did I actually increase the fuel?
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
Shit, I said currently it's... So I'm on hot lap mode. Yeah. I mean, a thing I saw today, I dug through... Okay, I probably shouldn't say anything because I posted this thing in... And I mean, I would be starting to retell. But yeah, I looked at the VOD of someone who is entered into a track EU championship. That's... Because he was doing practice the other day. And I dug through his VOD a bit, and his or them VOD, I'm not too sure. And their VODs they were doing laps at a couple of circuits, and it only clicked with like the second circuit that yeah, they were doing roughly GT4 pace with a GT3 car. Like it didn't click at first that they were actually that slow. But I watched them, like they were driving out of corners in ways that was just something. The problem is I can't really demonstrate because there aren't like good corners for demonstration purposes for how they exited corners. Although actually I can. Like they exit corners like this. And I probably still carried more speed out of there than then. Like, they would just not use the track at all. Not in the slightest way. And like, brake so early that they went back onto the throttle and things like that. And it's like, oh boy. That's just like... Yeah, you have some way to climb, and I went into an entire philosophical rant of how to actually help people who are in this position. Because, like, setups, I didn't mention go into this, but, like, do setups at the point that you are driving, or they are driving as well. You're probably a bit better, because GT4 pace, for example, around Spa is like 2:30s. So you're probably still a bit faster than GT4s. Which, yeah, is saying something. That I start comparing your pace to GT4s, but like it's sort of the basic litmus test. Are you at least faster than a GT4 car? GT2s, that's kind of expected that someone can beat you. Fast drivers can usually do that relatively easily, because GT2s are not that much slower. I can lap like 2 minutes 22, 21, 23, something like that around Spa in a GT2 car. So you can do a bunch of like fun stuff with GT2s. But yeah, it does. That's also the question of like, is there a worth in like working on the setup or anything?
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
But it's also like, right, I need to probably dig into a bit of the text that you guys are writing about it. Setups and lap guns, well, like the other point on that, right? No one becomes alien instantly, except those people that become alien instantly. I've seen it. It happens. Although if you drive a car and aren't alien pace already, then you probably aren't becoming alien pace instantly. But I've definitely encountered people who like pick up a sim and suddenly like lap significantly faster than everybody else. It's fun. I've seen enough people like significantly less experienced absolutely beat the shit out of me. But then again, I have experience that's just unrivaled, effectively. You can go literally faster than me and I will still beat you like that. That's the scary part with me. I can beat people with half my car missing still.
Yellow flag in sector 2. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
It's 3 PA set that I'm running anymore, so I can do so much. Sometimes it's just... Setups can be also very counterproductive, and also like car choices in the same way. Because what is good in terms of the meta and like for fast people can totally not work for you. Because one of the main things that I brought up in my entire yap is like literally comes up to the character count of a Discord message. Like I was like 9 characters underneath it, or like 5, I think, something like that.
Car on the left. Cut detected. Clear on the left.
Great, awesome. Fucking GT3 had to slot itself underneath me. How much damage do I have? Well, we're gonna continue on after the traffic is gone. There's a pocket now of clear air, so we're gonna use that. Oh, yes, I apologized. But yeah, setups can be counterproductive, straight up. And also, like, you specifically also working on a setup can be counterproductive, because if you're not really capable of moving a car around the circuit, like, do you actually know what you're trying to fix as well? Basically, isn't racing office really. I mean, for me, the setup issue is that I can't... It's like I can take basically any setup and drive it, and I can't... I struggle to judge if it's any better or worse. And I oftentimes am capable of just driving around problems to such an extent that it's like impossible for me to get a proper judgment out of my own setups. And the amount of times I like backwards develop a setup because I follow what is logically reasonable and it just doesn't work, and then I do the opposite and it also doesn't work, and then I revert back to the previous setup and it suddenly works. It's like, yeah, that's great. That's an awesome experience. Or me using a spa setup around Misano, a lowdown for spa setup. Which is just on the list of like hilarious things that I've done. But yeah, that's me, however. As demonstrated with Jordan, for example, very clearly in recent weeks. A lot of drivers cannot handle such things. I was perfectly fine with, well, all of the setups that we drove in recent weeks on any car. Or not recent weeks. As long as I've been driving basically with Jordan, this has been recurring. And Jordan isn't special in this sense, he's just a good example for this. Where it's like I was fine with the McLaren setup back in December. Jordan and Greg just couldn't drive it for some reason all of a sudden in the race. Ferrari setup in January. We also had another driver that couldn't drive that one all of a sudden. Chris and I were fine then again with the setup. Then the Aston setup at Watkins Glen, I mean, I felt was slow. But otherwise I didn't have many issues with it. Jordan constantly crashed out with it. If I hadn't improved there, I would have actually lost GT4 pull. Well, I guess that goes for that one. What else did we have? I had in between the Silverstone round, I ran with... What was his name again? Our Korean friend, SK? He doesn't have a full name, last name at least, as far as I remember. I ran that one with him. And he supplied the setup, and I mean, he sort of was able to drive it, but he still binned the car at the end of the stint and out of the race, and he had also, like, I think multiple spins throughout his stints anyway. So be that as well. And then there's the Lexus and the Nordschleife, which didn't work on the understeer setup for Jordan, and didn't work on the oversteer setup for Jordan. And Chris also had issues with both. I was the only one that was like, yeah, I mean, the oversteer Heimer setup was at least faster, clearly, so that's fun. It's the only thing that I could determine definitively, but the other things. Seong, KP, thank you. Yeah, it was Seong. ACC in a moment, I don't know that Slip is an iRental, but I don't get the feeling in ACC with my current fast speed clearance. That's interesting considering how iRental usually, as soon as you get 1 degree slip angle, just wrecks you immediately. So it's interesting to have any slip angle on that game for the emulators to work. My wheel has a little desk right now for the Bluetooth keyboard. Well, that's interesting. I use a shelf that's over there, and then just like lean forward and put my keyboard over there. Except as it has happened now a few times, I have dropped the keyboard in the process of moving it over there. So go figure. Current time model isn't that bad. Yeah, it's just the buy-in price, I guess, isn't fitting for me, and also, you know, my plan to move to Linux isn't too compatible with it. I did mention this when you just BRB'd. You mentioned like, yeah, you're reinstalling Windows, and I'm like, I didn't install Linux. But I understand. I mean, as a daily driver OS, I've been very much enjoying it. I rarely boot into Windows besides literally my sim racing streams. That's when I'm in Windows, and I'm not in Windows otherwise. I'm otherwise over on Linux. And yesterday I was working a bit on some games. I installed BeamNG Drive on the Linux. It's an interesting experience, that one, because you can... It has a native Linux binary, but you need to... But it's effectively just an executable laying in the in the games folder, so you have to manually start it up, not through Steam. If you launch through Steam, you launch it for Proton. Which is also fine, because you do have to launch BeamNP through Proton. And the workaround in getting that to work is something of like... of a fun one. It's not like that this is... Because I wanted to have it... Because it's relatively easy. You use Proton Tricks, which is a flat... Proton Tricks, you launch the installer into the prefix, which just does most of the work you need.
20 seconds.
You launch the installer into the prefix, it installs the BeamNP, and then you just have to go into the inside the prefix into the app data folder and launch the BMP launcher that way. Except the thing is, to get this to like cleanly work, I need to launch the... I set this up in Lutris in probably the most batshit insane way, where I launch my terminal emulator, or my console, the Windows equivalent. I launch CMD with the parameters of opening the specific folder where the executable is, where the BMP launcher executable is in there, and then using the flatpak command to launch the because how flatpak works, it doesn't install the executable normally. You have to effectively like launching a game through Steam, except that we're launching it over the command line. We launched the Proton tricks. So it's like, so the command being used is we use the flatpak run Proton tricks with the Proton tricks launch command, and then pass the parameters in that we want to run this with the BeamNG app ID and the and then run this executable that is literally in this folder now. It is a lot of text, but it works really cleanly. I did join a public BeamNP server briefly, although it did throw some Lua errors on the side, so I don't know how well it works, but you know, that stuff worked. There is a bit of an issue. Force feedback doesn't work in BeamNG on Linux through Proton. It does work on the native binary. But I did today come up with another batshit crazy idea dealing with this problem. And this is because I am working on data race after all. I want to have native game data readers. And that application could, you know, read whatever force feedback value BeamNG wants to output. Because usually you have a force feedback meter display. So if BeamNG outputs this over its telemetry, I can just grab that value and then inject it myself into the force feedback driver. And yeah, that would probably work to get force feedback working again. Yeah, I might another day or later, I don't know. Maybe I make also like different button mappings. I did try to launch the Vulkan version through. I did launch the Vulkan version through Proton once, and that caused the entire plasma shell to crash. So I had to. It did recover, so I could restart it without having to use without remoting into the machine and restarting it that way. But yeah, it effectively didn't like that. For some reason, I don't know. Obviously, the native Linux version works with Vulkan natively, so I guess if I want to try out VR as well, I could use that. Maybe it was also me just running on the Wayland and the other Linux shenanigans happen. Wayland being a bit funny with some stuff. I can't run, for example, VR on the Wayland. Haven't figured that problem out. God, that's like stupid. Game dev on Windows. Stuck with Windows because I don't need energy to make a switch, but music production. Yeah, I think I saw that on Liv's Discord that you asked around about purchasing a Mac for music production. The interesting thing with, you know, Mac being used for music production is that a lot of like audio interfaces and stuff have to obviously work with MacBooks and the like. So a lot of audio gear just generally supports USB standards to allow them to work with Windows, Mac, and also phones, which allows Linux users to use quite a bit of audio gear as well. Although when audio gear requires proprietary software to work properly, yeah, you start running into problems again. This is sort of kind of also what we're dealing with obviously force feedback steering wheels. But there is, at least for my wheel driver, Fanatec wheels have quite a few are supported for the Fanatec driver. Even with audio. Oh god! The attrition already. Yeah, let us just get through the mountain right now. Hello there. I see you back. Yeah. I didn't chat for most of yesterday. I was still there, like watching your stream for quite a while, but like I was doing other things. I was playing around with getting stuff to work on, like Linux around. So at some point before the end of the stream, I did leave. Cause it's fuck. I messed up my braking. I'm sorry. And there goes the other GT4. Whoever wants to use a Bentley and I'm struggling with the car. Oh boy. I need to kind of a bit focus because, you know, I'm last right now. Yeah, it started to get me pissed off as well. I don't know till what point I watched. I think I tuned out at the end of the GT4 race where you started second place. At the end of that one, I think I tuned out. But up until that one where you got taken out on what amounts to the third turn, I think, on the track. Or was it? No, it's the fourth turn actually. It's just, bruh, like, the luck was not with you that night. Truly. That one just didn't want to work. But yeah, I mean, I had to kind of tune out because I was also getting pissed off at other things I was working with. I was trying to get the crew chief patch for GTR2 to work. The issue with that era was on Linux, but like none of my issues related actually to Linux. It was the issue that I have the CD version and they specifically only support the Steam version of the game. And I'm like, bruh. Not really a fan of buying the game again. Maybe I do that in a Steam sale. But what I was trying is using the install of the anniversary patch to maybe get it to, because the instruction manual for installing the crew chief patch was showed that you could install the anniversary patch and showed an option of like specifically installing the Steam executable. I'm like, huh, could I get the Steam executable this way? And so, you know, tried that and it didn't work, unfortunately. Also, in general, the force feedback doesn't seem to work through Wine, so another issue there that I had, but like, yeah, it's. So I spend a lot of time like going through those steps. Honest to God, like a lot of stuff on Linux is easier than installing GTR2 mods. Like the pages and pages upon fucking manuals that they give you for that is truly oppressive. And in my opinion, it probably would actually, modding GTR2 under Linux would probably be a better experience than actually modding it under Windows. Although only in some ways. I think the installer for the high quality patch still is a bit flaky, because you have to effectively launch the Wine console, and that didn't want to change directory really correctly. But I did get in the end to execute the installer, but some options were not quite applying correctly technically, so it was something, but like, no, I'm not going for a pass into this corner here. There's an hour-long race, and fuck, and I missed breaking up again. Twice! I make the same mistake. I mean, sure, I probably shouldn't return the position because it was still fair enough, but like, hey, we're 2 cars at this point. Like, just like at least make it a fight. Like, I don't need to aggressively pass him. It's just not necessary. But yeah, you were saying, starting with the Bentley, he wants the negative towing on the rear. I mean, negative tow on the rear is not the end of the world. But the problem in general you're probably dealing with is that the setup in general is looser. It operates on a looser philosophy, which gives you a lot less room to operate in, and the issue being is, yeah, it's faster because you don't have to wait for the car mid-corner to turn, but you also lose a lot of time if you actually lose control of the car. This is why eSport setups are double-edged swords. For most drivers they do not work. I will be frank. This is sort of what you're right now encountering with the Bentley setups. My friend. Your friend probably is faster with the setup because, you know, he probably drives the Bentley a lot. I mean, he has some brain damage for doing that. It's getting massive understeer. Oh boy. Yeah, I guess you guys have took the wrong way. Fuck, not again! My ability to brake for this corner is kind of like the biggest problem of me right now. Max diff, max cast angle. Yeah, I mean, those are alright. I did actually this onto this setup as well, which is... This setup that I'm driving right now dates back to 2022. June 2022, it's like it's that old. Used in a 4-hour race. Max diff I don't quite get, but like differential is also like this entire thing. Like, look, I maintained a tool called CarStat for a while, which for to, you know, like also other G Motor games, would open the it would read effectively all the physics files and would graph them out for you, such as producing an engine graph. But also, like, one of the features I later added was allowing you to do setup work in the tool for the specific car you loaded. And in a thing that I just could never wrap my head around is how the differential works. because you have obviously the preload, you have an ACC as well, but you also have power and coast, which are percentage settings. And it's like the explanatory comments that were left in the skip barber that is in the was at least in the mod dev folder. That had like all the descriptions and everything in it that you can look at. Yeah, it just never made sense to me, and I just could never wrap my head personally around. And one of the also things with just the diff preload is that there is literally a too long didn't watch from Aries from back in from 2-3 years ago. That video specifically. That is about the diff. Again, we can only just the preload in ACC, which is 48 minutes long. It is so fucking long, that video. Like, the topic of diffs is just wild.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Differentials are just so difficult to understand. But yeah, I mean, max rear wing is the meta, and it still probably is. So running max rear wing, and then compensating against the understeer by increasing the ride height on the rear to put more rake into the car. That's how you make the car actually navigate. This isn't min-max, this what I'm driving here. This drives with 2 rear wing and a few settings. But then again, this is Bathurst, such settings kind of make a bit more sense here.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Giving him the room there, and there's no need to push him off the road here. What else is there? I think the anti-roll bar meta is also to just max out the front ALP and minimize the rear, which is really funny because detached rear anti-roll bar was the meta in R-Factor 2 as well. Yeah, that's fun. Although the meta in R-Factor 2 was min rear wing. So you run no rear wing, no rear anti, and you compensate with the rear anti-roll bar against the oversteer you're getting. Yeah, but I'm not running away from him, that's for sure. He isn't keeping me honest. It's maybe gonna get interesting. Oh yeah. I mean, I also skipped. You wrote something. But yeah, I mean, I skipped out today on the practice because I was busy finishing off an assignment.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Where it was just... it was so nearly done and like just one small part of an exercise was just not finished quite. And I just couldn't figure out how to solve it, and then suddenly like, oh yeah, I can do that. But that doesn't quite solve it, and then I like, wait a minute, but I can do this, and then it suddenly solves itself. Probably means it's wrong, but like at least it's a fucking worthy attempt of solving that problem. Forgot the term that was introduced again for these specific functions. Well, not for these functions, it's actually how to multiply two functions with each other. Conjuring, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, once I realized how the hell they want to use how that works. Dr. Junior. Okay. Been a line through there, and we finally actually got like over a second, so he doesn't get slipstream from me anymore. Oh fuck! And then the brakes don't work. I say, great, I have no gap, and then I just immediately fucking bit it into the final corner. Ah! Brakes, please function into these corners. Here comes another GT3 by. A lapped car. I mean, not too surprising if you turn on top of the mountain, you're gonna end up lapped. Otherwise, it's a bit of an achievement to be lapped by the GT4s. I mean, that was also like the interesting thing with like the races you did yesterday on LFM. Actually, I mean, I could, you know, after this race, load up on LFM and do a Bathurst sprint. Although my experience will be, I will be put into top split, be it towards the bottom of top split. Because fuck doing practice for laughing. Although the finish would probably be half decent because, you know, I can actually get around the circuit. Although it's top split, I think people can actually, you know, usually probably get the car on the circuit, but then against Bathurst. Do not lay high expectations on people's ability to drive around the circuit. Yeah, my point being that... Oh god, yeah, you just collided with the race leader there. That's that alien who's doing, who was doing sub 2 minutes in qualifying. Yeah, I'm not joking, he was doing 59s in Qualy.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Well, Aston seemed to be decently popular, I guess. I've only lost a bit more time there. Bouncing off the wall again. I need to break up the marker instead of the grid position there. Usually use that one as the braking marker, but GT4 that's enough. There's P2 coming up. You'll probably be able to draft past me.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Considering we're getting our traffic hit now, right now, Means we will get hit with traffic maybe twice before the end of the race. Probably not.
Yellow flag in sector.
Wee.
Faster cars approaching.
And Jordan has arrived. Hello there. I used to land down under. Yeah, where I show my feet. Wait, where's my... Oh, my opponent has decided to pit. But he's still in the pit lane and I'm nearly back to start finish. Well, then he must have crashed then. And I didn't notice it. Someone dig into the replay and figure out... Rewind the stream and figure out where he disappeared. It was... Yeah, he's still in the pit lane. Well, I was leading by like... I'd started on GT4 pole. I lost the lead at the end of the first lap because I outbroke myself in a GT3. Ended up being passed by my opponent. He... I repass him then. I try first, return the position because I basically shoved them off the road and then tried again successfully. I was leading for a bit with traffic and then with him like a second behind and he suddenly last lap disappeared. And he's still stuck on the pit lane. So, I don't know if he towed on top of the mud. Fuck. Loud ward? What do you mean with loud ward? Yeah, I think I have left eco mode on for my OVR toolkit for my dashboard window when I had to recreate it again. Because OVR toolkit destroys itself way too regularly. There's an alternative I need to look into with open knee pad. It's technically designed mainly for flight sim users. Liv has tried it. It's found it to be decent, but like he keeps his all-around solution with OVR toolkit. Which I'll probably keep OVR toolkit around because, you know, it works well if when you do standing VR and they want to have a window in VR chat and stuff. But then again, it doesn't work on Linux. But who knows if OpenEPad works on Linux? Probably not. There's being a niche VR user, and then there's being the niche VR user on the Linux. Godspeed. With that one.
Car on the left.
I mean, VR chat doesn't work anyway on Sata. Oh, 9 miles too much. I guess that's a reason to play. What's the alternative? God, I forgot the name of it. Whatever. The actual alternative. That Frapped wants to constantly push for me to actually use. It's like, yeah, maybe, but like, I don't know.
Faster cars approaching. Watch out.
Would require me to socialize again.
Car on the left.
still hype for Sunday. It's a good race. Yeah, it was a good race. It's just, you know, maybe the pain in my finger just like dulled slightly my ability to have enthusiasm. But then again, like my ability to have enthusiasm in general has not been great. So don't take it wrong. I'm quite happy, but like I don't know, perhaps more relieved. Why Windows? All the notification blinks constantly. It's really annoying. Wait a minute. We have another GT4 in this race! I've just realized. I'm not alone! JK. I used the word JK 3 times, so it cancels itself out again, but then it also applies again, so I guess that's fine. But yeah, what do I want to say? Right, I like slightly disappointed we didn't get actually an overall podium. So I have to always say, well, actually we finished second place in teams. Well, it might have only been P4, but like actually it's P2 in teams. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It's not like we were playing for the championship anyway. I mean, we've only run 2 races, and then also, like, you know, the Glen was the Glen. It's not like there was much you could do. I was able to perhaps keep, what's his name, Milai at bay, but like, Million. But he was just like, if you weren't lapping like within a second of me, it was very obvious that he would just immediately get you. I mean, heck, Million even finished second place, so there is that. Unfortunately, the brake issues the Wild Things driver experienced were not continuous enough for you to get the position back. Which, by the way, in case you didn't know, that's what actually happened with P3 in that race to the other McLaren in front of us. He ran brake pads type 1, probably. I don't know if he ran type 1, but considering he burned through them, they must have been type 1s, and yeah, he finished the race without brakes, which is why he constantly ran off the circuit. Because, you know, not having brakes or something. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Johnson had towed the car, because he's now completing his actually mandatory stop. Because he's right now in the pits again. And hadn't completed the service previously. But yeah, I hadn't noticed Wilson had joined the race late. He's 5 laps down. But I mean, he's still only like 2 laps down to Johnson, so there's that. So yeah, it's quite. We've suddenly been gifted again another race win, effectively. Because our main competition, I don't know, something happened to him and he just imploded. And dropped off the race. We can just, for the most part, continue, but we just have to take like a liter to complete the minimum fuel requirement. And heck, even if I don't complete the pit stop requirement, the 130-second penalty is not gonna cost me the win here. Let's just set that up, the pit stop right now. So, there's a Porsche behind. Porsche's not gonna clear me for the corner.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Labout. Goes gnoming the grass there.
Car on the left.
I think that wasn't even position. K. Johnson, the Porsche is P6. Stevens is actually passing me for position here. Johnson also hasn't done the pit stop yet.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
So, actually, but I mentioned for the Glen and all those other races before that.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Meme tweet? I didn't notice that one, or maybe I did. But yeah, I mean, it's been also like, just generally for me, like an entire streak of endurance races going wrong. Trust me, it's not like the worst it's been. There was always checkered flag endurance championship season 3. There always is that one. You remind me of that championship. Yeah, it was a checkered flag endurance group, I think. CFEG. Remind me of those people. It's a league that luckily does not exist anymore. They did try for a time, like actually selling a service of running a league effectively for you, where they give you commentary and maybe organize other things depending on how much you pay them. And it's like, bruh. Considering how badly they did butcher their stewarding, how biased they were, like, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot garbage ball. Even if they aren't to it. I guess I didn't see it, or I'm just too forgetful, so I've already forgotten it again. But yeah, it's been a streak of like my endurance races going wrong. Besides perhaps the January round, where still things went wrong. Our third driver, whose name is constantly evading me, had issues and crashed the car multiple times, so we had to remove them out of the car. And Chris and I had to drive the rest of the race. It's just, we weren't split free because, well, I had missed to qualify, so it became us against the AM split, which the AM split did not stand much of a chance at that point. It's kind of sad because if it wasn't for us winning in split 3, a solo driver would have won there, which would have been kind of a really cool story. But like the solo driver was actually not shit. I mean, our Ferrari wasn't quite as fast as the McLaren that we drove on Sunday. Like we weren't quite as fast with the Ferrari, even though the setup was also pretty good there.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Fuck. Butchered that one completely. At times you think you're gonna hit the wall and then you don't. It's kind of weird.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Let him go finally. There's a bit of room behind before we hit next piece of traffic. But yeah, besides that round, and even that one, there was obviously... I mean, us two ran the last round of V4H last year, and well, that was a disaster because of the driver swap issues us two had. I think the Donington round was particularly much better either before that. Then we ran obviously the Spa 24-hour race with the McLaren and Greg and Chris. That one wasn't particularly great for us either. Then we had, I mean, the entire Track Illusions Championship effectively. was me trying to undo the mistakes of my co-drivers. Besides perhaps the spa round of that one. Except that Lichten in the last stint, when he took the car again, he effectively started throwing the race away again. So, go figure. Was one of our best results. Besides the fact that the later rounds had a lot smaller grids. One of our better results, and just lost like 3 positions there in the closing stint. I was not pleased about that performance from him. Then there was... especially because he went about it with like oopsie daisy attitude about it. In general, like his attitude towards driving ACC of like, he can't figure out how to set fucking wheel rotation correctly. It's like, it's super simple. Set it in the driver to 1080, set it in the game to 1080. Anything else doesn't matter. And then switch it perhaps in rFactor 2 to running on software basis. So it stops manipulating the value in the driver. And works like every other racing game. Because rFactor 2 wants to be fucking special. Setting has been there for... well... It has been there since back 2021, I think, even. I think when I started really actively racing ACC, it was already there in the UI available. So it is that. He does a Ferrari right now, and he's driving. And he has not done the pit stop yet. But yeah, not happy about that one either. Yeah, those races have been quite a few now of just having to undo the damage that had been done before. It's not even been just you, as I wanted to say. It's been rounds. Also other endurance races with Asa, for example, as well, still back then. Then also this year in Silverstone with Seong, because I was reminded of his name earlier. With Seong, who also pinned the car out of the race completely. Like, I was fearing at the start of the race that like he might beat me with, as a controller driver, because lap time he was giving me were like pretty damn quick, and in the end I was like, dry. Even in dry conditions, faster, and in wet conditions he had like no chance, and he was struggling badly with it. We kept with our schedule of stints, and he then crashed with like 10 minutes to go. The car out of the race basically completely. And their tweet about dropping out of the spa round because of chassis damage is like kind of funny, considering how much that car has been on the walls before. It's like, well, the super glue stopped sticking and the thing has now fallen into 1,000 pieces finally. Like it's been glued back together one too many times. So it's not working anymore. Can't glue it anymore back together. Sargent William chassis is less patchwork to that thing. Frapp's my best friend. What about me? Right. I'm driving like kind of badly, but doesn't matter at this point anymore. We're basically having to search. I mean, this was kind of bound to happen with 2 cars in the race in GT4. We might be up to. Are we still free? I won't check, but like, you know, we're having to drive down the mountain right now. It's a bit difficult to check. Yeah, we are still 3 cars. That's something. Will any of this matter? Not really. He's roughly like 28 seconds still behind me additionally. Plus the 3 laps. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to look at the replay what happened to him to put him this far down. And yeah, it's just always the curse of GT4. It's just, you hear people saying it's so great, and then just no one fucking turns up to it. I feel like in the past it was better. It was like, I started racing ACC back in 2021. GT4 pack had already been out for a bit at that time. And I got the GT4 pack actually gifted to me by Jeff. And I've been racing GT4 like a lot. It's probably my most driven class in the entire game. Barring the fact that, like, obviously I've actually done an enduro. I've done 6 hours solo in GT4. I have done, actually I've also done with teammates, I've done enduros in GT4 as well. Specifically we drove, I think Jeff and I drove a 570S and a 6-hour race at Spa. And we were in contention for a podium finish, which would have actually gotten cash money. Cash prices, but like, unfortunately I didn't quite held on for that one. I think we finished like 7th or something. But yeah, car was... But yeah, done a bit of GT4, but it's like... It's trying to get blood from a stone, effectively. Thing is, this championship last season had GT2 and GT4 as options. I don't get why they didn't just keep GT2 again. And instead axed GT2 and kept GT4. Because GT4, in my opinion, is a lot less popular. Especially because you kind of need to own GT2 to, you know, anyway compete, considering the Red Bull Ring is, I think, on the... Well, yeah, the Red Bull Ring was on the schedule. I literally raced it last week. Fucking dumbass me. So meaning everybody that raced last week, the about good 20 or so odd people, yeah, they all own those cars. They have no excuse really not driving them. But again, I have also just like issues with just picking cars. And it's just like, I don't feel it really anymore. Like, it's just, I'm still stuck on the Maserati. It's genuinely been an issue now. That pre 1.9 Maserati was just an experience, to say the least. In every aspect possible. To win that car on circuit was an utter joy. It just isn't quite matched with the understeering McLaren that, like, yeah, it goes fast in a straight line. Yeah, that's like its entire feature set. So when you're like, you know, you need to turn, it kind of sucks. And like extracting pace in general out of the thing sucks. You just can't get anything out of it. You try pushing the car, you will immediately start entering four-wheel slides and just losing randomly time. It's just the car will decide if you lose time or not. It's not great. I did curse this car also as well, like into high heavens. Well, not high hell, more like. During last week during the Red Bull Ring round. And I have previously also like been really annoyed with this car. This car is the reason I drove the Maserati before. That's kind of like one of the funniest things ever, because during the release, when the American Track Pack released, I had driven the 4-hour race at Bathurst here. I would have won it if I hadn't been taken out by a GT3. It was like the big SRXP Enduro second place run of mine. I think I finished like in 6 or 7 races in a row, second place. From a DNF to just second place, second place, second place, second place, second place, second place. In different classes even. Okay. To then finally break the curse with the Suzuka round where I clocked, where I finally won the race, and especially also with my beloved Maserati. It still sucks that I never won a championship of the damn thing. In anything. Like I've won championship with the McLaren 570S. But I've never won with the Maserati, and it's kind of sad. I've won a couple individual races and also enduros. Especially one of the Watkins Glen 6-hour race that I soloed. Was back in 2022. Man, it's been a while since that happened. It was such a glorious race still anyway. Even if those fucking assholes that wanted to that intentionally wrecked me in that one. Okay, have fun editing, I guess. I should do that also more. I didn't do anything edited right now. But it's also like, and there's still like 50,000 different things I can do. I don't even get around to streaming that much in the recent weeks. It's actually been my race commitments. I think there's been like in the past month like literally 4 streams. Yeah, I started to run out of race commitments and I didn't really commit to anything. Because the semester was starting back up and I wanted to wait a bit. How's my fuel actually looking? I have 5 liters extra. So we literally only need 1 liter to complete the requirement. That's it. Yeah, we're also running P11 right now overall. Granted, we haven't done the pit stop. But still, like, you know, we're running P11 in a GT4 car. There were, I think, over 20 GT3s at the start. Or something, I guess. Oh boy. Oh, just like that one, just have it. We're done. that was an attempt. But I fucking made a mistake. Woo, you. Fine, okay. Fucking go at that point. But yeah, our alien lost the fucking lead there. And now lost a bunch of time over the mountain on me. Because they didn't quite jump out of the way. That sucks a bit. Yeah, if he has all that pace, he should be able to come back on that one. I don't know why he lost the position in the first place. Perhaps he did lose pace. And just be good in qualifying. A few more cars coming out. And then there's a gap again.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Mm-hmm. It's P13 unlapping himself off me. That's like even better. The other guy was P15. And P13 not behind me. That's hilarious. I mean, the next car is 54 seconds behind. So we're probably gonna drop to 12 through the pit stop cycle. No top 10 with the GT4 car. Limo idiot. I don't know if he's flashing or if he's just aliasing.
Car on the left.
Yeah, considering that's P13, it's very unlikely that he will catch me before the end of the race. Also, that's unknown. He did start like 2 positions ahead of me. So, you know, finishing 13th, that's kind of a success for him. Right, we have 6 minutes 30 on the clock. I should probably start coming into the pits. The start-finish line is very early on the circuit, so you can't really do the Suzuka trick of pitting on the last lap at the end of it. To ensure you keep the lead lap. We've talked about things. I'd say I might consider doing perhaps another Feb race. I don't know what the time slots are. You know, if they run on the half past, I could do it, but I think they run on the hour GT3s, don't they? They run every hour, if I remember correctly. Sprints. I don't know. I don't haven't done enough Elephant to know the schedule off the top of my head. Like, I'm literally stuck in Bronze Plus because I haven't done enough races to get a higher rating. To get a higher badge. I'm slightly below the requirements of getting gold. Besides races, obviously. Slightly too low on ELO for that. But otherwise would be pretty high silver plus. If I just clocked in another, I don't know how many races I need again, like for silver I think you need like 40 or 50 and I'm on like 22 or something like that. Let's go around again. Oh, what happened to you? He looked like he was like literally spawned there. I think, didn't Wilson actually retire off the first round still? Or did he actually drag the car to the finish line? Because I think he retired. Because But he was relatively slow in ring as well. To consider that he's dragging the thing around the track, despite being like 5 laps down. It's definitely some heroics. There you go.
Faster car approaching. Watch out. Clear on the left.
Let's just do the pit stop now finally. It's done. We don't fall into violation and everything. That matters too much, but yeah, let's do it actually properly.
Faster car coming up behind. Watch out.
Alright, there's my pit box. At least there's not too much traffic in here. I think Wilson has decided to pull the car into the pit lane because I think that looks like him. Man, I completely missed my pit box.
Mandatory stop is now clear. Let's go. Go.
Ignite starter. Yeah, that's a butchered pit stop. But yeah, that was Wilson. I guess he had an accident and towed the car through pits. And Johnson's also back in the pits.
Faster car is approaching.
P5 now coming back up again.
Car on the right.
Considering I'm lapped by P10, I
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
could have waited on a lap, but like, sure, it doesn't matter too much. As obviously the McLaren in P12 has actually gotten closer. He's 18 seconds behind, but he hasn't actually pulled any gap in the last few laps. He must be limping around with some damage. Also, it's 18 seconds away. Might just be able to hold on there. Well, against the fast guys, that's technically not enough. The GT3s are technically faster than that. But well, lap. 2 laps, they should be able to close that in, but then again, it doesn't seem like that's happening. After all, we're going also at the low end of the GT3 field. Sucks we didn't get a top 10 with it, but you know, we're winning GT4 after all. That's at least something. Oh yeah, there's Jones again. Are you gonna stick this time around? Getting behind me. Okay, good. Didn't want to pass me into this corner this time.
There's a slow car behind.
Is that Jones again? Not Jones, sorry, Wilson. Probably. I don't know. What would have caused that white flag? Right, final lap now. Just need to bring her around one more time. And the other D Jones and K Jones. K Jones is running P6 in the Porsche, and D Jones is about to finish the race in P1 of the Ferrari. Seems like the interference and the traffic has made kind of the difference for me, for them, because I did slow the Aston quite a bit down when they came up to pass me. Unfortunate for them. Fuel level low. That's the 5-liter one. That's fine. And I have still more than enough fuel to get around. Wilson. I don't need to technically let me by, but I don't know, you might have damage or something. Yeah, that front end looks a bit worn out. I'm finishing this race with like 2 seconds of damage, and I think I brushed the wall like once, and the other time it was actually hitting other GT cars. Some GT3s and some mainly GT4 actually. Mainly the Mercedes. Yep. P11 in the end. Overall P1 in class. Another W. Well, of course the Alpine didn't turn up again. And there were only the other Merc that's... Oh, Wilson is out of fuel. Unfortunately I have to do an entire in-lap to get to him. That's probably too long for the timer expires. I mean, he should be getting classified considering he and there goes the screen. Did he get? No, he didn't get over the line. Foreman didn't finish either the race. Me finishing P11 in a GT4 car. Still wild. Fortunately, too late, it doesn't matter anymore. The results have been printed. But yeah, considering we had in GT4 as well, only two Mercedes start the race. One of them suffered some sort of incident during the multiple incidents during the race, likely. Put him down, and then we had the other one join like way too late to actually make an impact. Yeah, GT4 is kind of just really sad at that point. You know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy if like the McLaren guys are like, well, it's kind of sad with like 6 people. Well, there was still a race with 6 people. Yeah. Would have maybe had more today if you didn't quit. Stupid idiots. Alright, let's start figuring out what happened to Johnson. Oh boy, there's like a massive gap at some point. Yeah, he's still in the race here. Did he disconnect? Is it normal everything up here? Let's see my car in front. Look at the bloody pink car. Everything so far is fine. Maybe he does not dip, I guess. That wouldn't be the most too. Oh god, GT3 car. Yep, and that's. Oh! Yeah, that's just fun. Well, that GT3 fucked around and found out. It's like, yeah, you put it alongside the GT4, but the GT4 is struggling to slow down, kind of. He's like desperate. He ends up alongside you, and it just has to. Like, he wanted to take the normal line, but by the time that he saw you commit, that was too late for him to slow down. Well, I mean, I think he should have been able to still avoid hitting the wall there, but it's just like, in the entire chaos of like, you need to live to actually, you know, turn the corner and then misjudge you until braking and all of that stuff, where the GT3 is going. And then he is lifting off here too much, not slamming on the anchors enough, clips the wall, clips into the GT3, at least GT3 gets fucking calm out of that. Got completely what he deserved. Even retired of the race later on. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you kind of asked for that to happen. You took a risk. The risk you took was calculated, but man, now you're bad at math. It's not like the car is completely totaled. Has a slight hint of steering damage, but not really. Is he in speed? Yeah, he is in speed. So what happened actually to this guy? Because he did retire then. Okay, he threw the car away on top of the hill again. He's braking, losing the rear end in the process, and that's just... So he has to go straight and then just... You know, does the same thing to the Merc did that he got taken out with. Okay, he drives out of the position and then retires, I think, after the race completely. But yeah, it's... What's this lap? What lap is everybody on? Lap 5. People are completing, starting lap 5 right now. And this is when he joins. Well, actually, you're on a bit earlier. Don't know why he didn't drive out then. Yeah, people are still on the grid and he spawned into the pit lane. Joining late enough that like he didn't get a grid slot. But like he is definitely in the pit lane there from the start, but like he started late for some reason. Don't get how he did that. Oh, am I still behind? Wait, someone else on this race, he obviously. We did the outlap then. And then comes immediately in again to do the regular pit service. And then finds someone just standing there? And he suddenly pushes in. Not like the other guy is gonna be able to make it to the pit box anyway. I think you still suffer some quite wild penalties for towing, even if you got to the pit lane. You obviously can't push in the pit lane. I don't think that worked for that guy. Did he just run out of fuel? really buddy of the other Mercedes driver. For him to just push him into the pit lane. I mean, it's not like he isn't in any race anymore at that point anyway. And yeah, okay, he's out of fuel already at this point. He's still upshifting here perfectly fine, goes up the hill here, and then here's the point where it conks out. And he doesn't clutch in and coast, but like it wouldn't have helped much considering the corner here, where you need to slow down quite a bit. And from this point, but like he just, you know, he's still not in the clutch, he's still rolling with the engine on. I mean, in general, it's a fuck up because, you know, if you had just done any fuel saving that lap, he would have been probably fine to, you know, coast the car into the pit, have enough fuel that you can push yourself into your pit box. Just coast in the right spots, and you would be fine. But he didn't, he was too stupid. Didn't pay attention. Is there a pit service done? Yeah, he comes into do pit service. I think he does also pit on the final lap as well. Yeah, he pits with me. Yeah, for a bit of fuel, not much. And that's it, he got just taken up by GT3, unfortunately. I think, as far as I can see, that's been all of it for him. Hey. Yeah, there was another incident in the closing laps. What? Wie the fuck did that happen? He rolled the car. Oh boy, there's some bit steering there. So he's just trying to get this thing around the circuit up on. Get it to the finish line, I guess. Wait, no, not the roll. Oh yeah, that was the roll earlier here. It's not quite as severely bent damage. Steering from that. How do you pull that off? Oh yeah, right, no. Oh, for fuck's sakes, I hate how this constantly wants to keep... He's traveling here on the straight. It's the curb here, but that's fine. Brakes. What failure sort of moment is this? I mean, rolling in ACC is already achievement enough, but like, rolling the car like that is like just goofy as all hell. Obviously, the car thing can't move down at some point. So he skids on the roof along, and then the game resets him automatically into the pit lane. The car looks roughly fine at that point, yeah. Ah, he's now fuel conserving. I guess. But something led to him not being able to actually get to the finish line himself. Shifts into fifth, but like obviously there's enough power here anymore. That was really badly damaged after all. So you wanna roll the car again? Kind of nearly. He should be fine at this point to get to the finish line. Oh no! Not again! You rolled the car twice! How do you even? This has to be like a slapstick comedy at that point. And over there he is. Just look at it. That's why he needed a push. His car was, well, fuel-wise fine. It just literally needed to be... Just, how do you damage your car this badly that it rolls over the fucking curbs? How did he achieve a car? This is some fail race stuff right here. Oh, that's something. I mean, it does pop up quite a bit there, but like, not like wildly from hitting that curb. I mean, I wasn't really hitting a curb because it usually unsettles your car. Oh boy, but like he... This is some random lap. Like, he set up his car so bouncy that he could just roll it. Oh, come on. Like, how did you do this? This is incredible. Just pick a random lap and then, like, yeah, you rolls it off the final curb, turn curb again. Like, how could this be? Genuine question. Do I need to now drive the Camaro and figure out how bouncy the curbs are on this track? Because, like, I need to know at this point. This is wild. Yeah, I guess we're gonna use the full American. Go. We need Bathurst. I did throw my gloves over there, but like. Sure, we don't care. We're gonna drive without gloves for like that lap that we need to get to the spots. So I just need to get to a few spots. So we're gonna drive obviously aggressive preset, but I'm not gonna change anything on it. Just drive it like that.
Green light. Go, go, go. Low tire pressure. Stay away from curbs.
This is just wild, the fact that he could just roll his car off the curbs. And it wasn't damage dependent. Like, he clearly didn't have damage on the last thing I showed. Like the one in the middle of the race, he didn't have damage at that point. He collected a bunch because, you know, car hit wall. I mean, it's not a foreign concept to be rolling a car on this circuit, after all. One of our favorites, cat girls, decided to roll her car and still go on to win a race. But that was going down out of the dipper, hitting the wall there, and then for some reason the car decided to go up and over, do a full 360, end up on the wheels again and continue. Yes, yes! Oh god! Oh god, the camera gets really angry if you do that. I thought that was just limited to the replay, but apparently the in-game camera does that as well.
Got some light damage on the front of the car.
Holy crap! That is on aggressive preset. I mean, I didn't roll the car straight up, but like, I did not expect that you could do this! Like, what clown show is this? The setup must be awful, just like, the car in general awful, like... I mean, spring rate is on the middle setting, there's 3 settings for it, for each side of the car, all of them left on the middle setting. ARB is on 1 out of 1. You have a range of 0 to 2. Both sides on 1. Steering rate is not too high. The dampers look normal. The ride height is on minimum. Brake ducts maximum front. 2 rear wing. Nothing too special there. ABS on 2 probably would change that, but like, you know, you don't need to. You can't change the caster. Camber is not min-maxed. There's quite a lot of toe on the rear end. 0.15. There's a bit of toe out on the front, but not much. Tire pressure's a bit on the low side, obviously, especially for these conditions that I driving in, but like, you know, we didn't have the chance to get up to pressure anyway because this was just the outlap. But yeah, you can roll a car in ACC. It's perfectly possible. Unbelievable, just utterly unbelievable. I did not expect that to happen where I load up ACC and load up the camera and just it actually just works out of the box, which probably explains what happened there. He just drove the aggressive preset because he probably didn't have much else, and then just ended up with these things happening in the race. Which, I mean, again, I don't personally hit those curbs usually. I had to very intentionally aim for them to achieve this outcome. Otherwise, yeah, this is something of an experience. Oh yeah, the ping went now. The button is working again. So I'm carrying his T300. But yeah, that's something to have a rolling car. Definitely did not expect that for tonight. Yeah, as I said, I usually I would say the racing line doesn't take the curb there. You probably shouldn't. The car usually gets too much unsettled for it to be fast. So but I mean, on the other hand, this car, it's the Camaro, usually, you know, it bounces over the curb so easily, so why not? And then it's like, well, actually, you can just send to the shadow realm occasionally, so that's a good reason why not. There's one of endurance for QRT on the Nordschleife, for fuck's sakes. Why is... And it's GT4 only, for fucking sakes, come on. Like, I know, at least if you do GT3 only, you at least get a grid. But then again, it's Nordschleife. Having multiple classes is really nice to have there. So please just do that. It makes a lot of sense. Alright then. Hey, I think it's time to wrap it up now. Yeah. I think this league is gonna unfortunately be relatively boring for the most part. We're going next week here. Next week it's Alton Park. I thought today was the Nordschleife, but you know, if you actually read the table correctly, it's round 1, 2, 3 in the first row, and then round 4, 5, 6 in the second row. And it's not like you're going column, you're going row wise like usual. Yeah, I'm a bit weird. Yeah, and obviously Nordschleife then on May 14th. May 7th is Alton Park then. Nordschleife will be a 90-minute run. Oh yeah, 90-minute run, there's 2 of them. Silverstone final round 10 in mid-June. But yeah, I mean, if we continue like this, we're gonna dominate a bit. How's the standings again looking? Yeah, Dan Johnson was not scored last round. I guess he didn't finish. That's why. Luke Wilson and the... Wait, Luke Wilson isn't a Chevy? I thought he was an Alpine driver. Where's my Alpine gone? Because I'm pretty sure we had an Alpine in... on Red Rovering, there was an Alpine on Luke Red, I'm pretty sure in the end. Or was that Dan Johnson? Yeah. Wait a minute. Did Dan Johnson swap to the Camaro? And then Luke Wilson swapped from the... Oh god. Luke Wilson swapped from the Alpine to the Camaro. He was again late to the start of the race because last time he just showed up at the start of the race. This time he showed up, so he didn't actually get to drive until a few laps into the race. But he was the Alpine driver last time around, but he's a high ranked driver usually. He's actually as much rating as I have, SimGrid rating wise. Dan Johnson, on the other hand, he was the Camaro driver last time around. He, you know, wasn't too quick and then DNF'd last race a few laps into the race. I mean, he got out qualified at the Red Bull Ring by a whopping 2 seconds, but I guess swapping to the Mercedes in that case was a good idea to just reduce the gap a bit. Race 1, Nikolai Runev, classified P2. We had only 3 classified finishers there. Caravan, Bisaya. He's not even scored with any name or anything. I guess he never signed up. That might have been the thing. He got just dragged along by his buddy. Wildcard drivers, we're not looking at those. Cleverneff if is 570S. Yeah, there was only one 570S signed up, or at least currently is. But usually you do see all the sign-ups, and then you just get marked as DQ'd if they don't, attend. Yeah, Luke Wilson is now the career. Alexio Gapa is in a M4, but hasn't never turned up. Francesco Pin is in a Cayman, but has never turned up to a single round. Dan Johnson has turned up to 2 rounds, has swapped the car. Luke Wilson has turned up to 2 rounds, has swapped the car. Nikola Runev has turned up to 1 round, has not swapped the car. And Miho has also turned up to 2 rounds and has not swapped his car. So, GT4. So there were 6 drivers. 3 have attended all rounds. 1 has attended 1 round. And 2 haven't even started a single race. I've been 2 rounds into the championship. This is like fucking great. GT3 on the other end. Wow. How many do we have there? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Well, their attendance is also quite shit. And then there's also like a bunch of wildcard drivers. Is there any GT4 wildcard? No, there's not a single GT4 wildcard. But yeah, there's a bunch of drivers signed up. No one's turning up. Fucking hell. There was 17 people scored at Red Bull Ring. But considering there's like... And today we had also like... We didn't even have 20 finishers, I think. So yeah, again, that's like... The attendance, there's like 10 people missing in GT3. Plus the wildcard drivers that are actually kind of racing the numbers for people. Oh, fucking hell, Jesus Christ. God damn it, some stupid bots. How long has it been? Oh, 2 minutes. That's why it hasn't been deleted yet. The bot will be cleansed soon on the SimUp Discord. Not the end of the world. It's just I opened the fucking coding channel on there and there's like stupid Discord scam invite, and it's like, I see what is happening, and then you look at like, oh, it's 2 minutes ago. It's like, oh yeah, the moderators have whatever has not gotten to it yet. Although you should really restrict the ability of people to use a bot to just delete all Discord invite links. Because that just makes life a lot easier in managing those things. But I mean, then again, I don't have such report on my Discord server, but then again, there's like 10 people. If even. I think we're not even at 10 right now. Are we? Let me check. Yeah, we're at 9 members. We're not at 10 yet. Okay. Well done. I think that makes it a good night. I think it's time to call it a night. Griddle. Is that a suggestion towards the Discord bot, or is that just you making funny noises and saying good night? I mean, as I said, 9 users who did a bot yet to delete invite links. That's a problem for the SimHub Discord with like, I think like over 2,000 people in that. It's a good figure. Right. Indeed, cool comments. Hit the sim griddle. Okay, the gritty. Sim gritty. Yep. I've hit the sim grid. Just the events selection on there, not great. And the Sudo Racing League, I mean, love the time slot, it's just... if you had made a GT3 only, it would have probably been better. Even if, you know, I would have not been winning, obviously, in GT3. Because, let's be real, I'm not doing sub 2 minutes on Bathurst. That's not me. But... top 10? Top 5? Maybe even? Yeah, that definitely would have been in it. But I guess I can just take easy W's in GT4 instead. Right then. Good night. I don't know when I will be back. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Friday. I shall see. Because I want to play more Night Runners, I want to do a bunch of other things. So we shall see if I get over to them. Good night. I will take the... the calibration being shit again. Because my head is up here, technically. That's a bit weird. But yeah, I will paint myself. But yeah, I shall be back. Bye bye.